Volume 2, Part 1 of Herodotus's Histories. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Carolina. Histories, Volume 2, by Herodotus of Halicarnassus, translated by E.D. Godley. Volume 2, Part 1. After taking Babylon, Darius himself marched against the Scythians. For since Asia was bursting with men, and vast revenues were coming in, Darius desired to punish the Scythians for the wrong they had begun when they invaded Media first, and defeated those who opposed them in battle. For the Scythians, as I have said before, ruled Upper Asia for 28 years. They invaded Asia in their pursuit of the Cimmerians, and ended the power of the Medes, who were the rulers of Asia before the Scythians came. But when the Scythians had been away from their homes for 28 years, and returned to their country after so long an absence, as much trouble as their Median war awaited them. They found themselves opposed by a great force. For the Scythian women, when their husbands were away for so long, turned to their slaves. Now the Scythians blind all their slaves, because of the milk they drink, and this is how they get it. Taking tubes of bone very much like flutes, they insert these into the genitalia of the mares, and blow into them, some blowing while others milk. According to them, their reason for doing this is that blowing makes the mare's veins swell and her udder drop. When done milking, they pour the milk into deep wooden buckets, and make their slaves stand around the buckets and shake the milk. They draw off what stands on the surface, and value this most. What lies at the bottom is less valued. This is why the Scythians blind all prisoners whom they take, for they do not cultivate the soil, but are nomads. So it came about that the younger generation grew up, born of these slaves and the women. And when the youth learned of their parentage, they came out to fight the Scythians returning from Media. First they barred the way to their country by digging a wide trench from the Tauric mountains to the broadest part of the Maeotian lake. And then, when the Scythians tried to force a passage, they camped opposite them and engaged them in battle. There were many fights, and the Scythians could gain no advantage. At last one of them said, "Men of Scythia, look at what we are doing. We are fighting our own slaves. They kill us, and we grow fewer. We kill them, and shall have fewer slaves. Now, then, my opinion is that we should drop our spears and bows, and meet them with horsewhips in our hands. As long as they see us armed, they imagine that they are our equals and the sons of our equals. Let them see us with whips and no weapons, and they will perceive that they are our slaves. And taking this to heart, they will not face our attack." The Scythians heard this and acted on it, and their enemies, stunned by what they saw, did not think of fighting, but fled. Thus the Scythians ruled Asia, and were driven out again by the Medes, and returned to their own country in such a way. Desiring to punish them for what they had done, Darius assembled an army against them. The Scythians say that their nation is the youngest in the world, and that it came into being in this way. A man whose name was Tagitaus appeared in this country, which was then desolate. They say that his parents were Zeus and a daughter of the Borysthenes river. I do not believe the story, but it is told. Such was Tagitaus' lineage. He had 3 sons, Lipoxes, Arpoxes, and Calaxes, youngest of the 3. In the time of their rule, the story goes, certain implements, namely a plough, a yoke, a sword, and a flask, all of gold, fell down from the sky into Scythia. The eldest of them, seeing these, approached them, meaning to take them. But the gold began to burn as he neared, and he stopped. Then the second approached, and the gold did as before. When these two had been driven back by the burning gold, the youngest brother approached, and the burning stopped, and he took the gold to his own house. In view of this, the elder brothers agreed to give all the royal power to the youngest. Lipoxes, it is said, was the father of the Scythian clan called Alchatai; Arpoxes, the second brother, of those called Catiari and Trespians; the youngest, who was king, of those called Paralatae. All these together bear the name of Scolati, after their king. Scythians is the name given them by the Greeks. This, then, is the Scythians' account of their origin, and they say that neither more nor less than 1,000 years in all passed from the time of their first king Tagetaus to the entry of Darius into their country. The kings guard this sacred gold very closely, and every year offer solemn sacrifices of propitiation to it. Whoever falls asleep at this festival in the open air, having the sacred gold with him, is said by the Scythians not to live out the year; for which reason, they say, as much land as he can ride round in one day is given to him. Because of the great size of the country, the lordships that Callicles established for his sons were 3, one of which, where they keep the gold, was the greatest. Above and north of their neighbors of their country no one, they say, can see or travel further, because of showers of feathers, for earth and sky are full of feathers, and these hinder sight. This is what the Scythians say about themselves and the country north of them. But the story told by the Greeks who live in Pontus is as follows. Heracles, driving the cattle of Geryones, came to this land, which was then desolate, but is now inhabited by the Scythians. Geryones lived west of the Pontus, settled in the island called by the Greeks Erythea, on the shore of Ocean, near Gadara, outside the Pillars of Heracles. As for Ocean, the Greeks say that it flows around the whole world from where the sun rises, but they cannot prove that this is so. Heracles came from there to the country now called Scythia, where, encountering wintry and frosty weather, he drew his lion's skin over him and fell asleep, and while he slept his mares, which were grazing yoked to the chariot, were spirited away by divine fortune. When Heracles awoke, he searched for them, visiting every part of the country, until at last he came to the land called the Woodland, and there he found in a cave a creature of double form that was half maiden and half serpent. Above the buttocks she was a woman, below them a snake. When he saw her he was astonished, and asked if she had seen his mares straying. She said that she had them, and would not return them to him before he had intercourse with her. Heracles did, in hope of his reward. But though he was anxious to take the horses and go, she delayed returning them, so that she might have Heracles with her for as long as possible. At last she gave them back, telling him, "These mares came, and I kept them safe here for you, and you have paid me for keeping them, for I have 3 sons by you. Now tell me what I am to do when they are grown up. Shall I keep them here, since I am queen of this country, or shall I send them away to you?" Thus she inquired, and then, it is said, Heracles answered, "When you see the boys are grown up, do as follows, and you will do rightly. Whichever of them you see bending this bow and wearing this belt so, make him an inhabitant of this land, but whoever falls short of these accomplishments that I require, send him away out of the country. Do so, and you shall yourself have comfort, and my will shall be done." So he drew one of his bows, for until then Heracles always carried 2, and showed her the belt, and gave her the bow and the belt, that had a golden vessel on the end of its clasp. And, having given them, he departed. But when the sons born to her were grown men, she gave them names, calling one of them Agatharsis, and the next Gelonus, and the youngest Scythes. Furthermore, remembering the instructions, she did as she